You guys, all right, so I'm making this video for you today. If you have a child with Tourette syndrome or a neurological disability, something that just maybe they don't know what's going on just by looking or listening. And this could save you a lot of time. This could save you a lot of stress. I wish I would have known this. I wish I would have thought about it, but I couldn't think clearly. I mean, here goes my daughter having these motor and vocal tics that are intense. Everything was unfolding faster than we could process it. I think that's Brene Brown talks about with overwhelm, stress versus overwhelm. She says something about like overwhelm means when your life is unfolding faster than you can manage it. That's exactly what this felt like. And I'm sure some of you know this feeling. And if you do, I'm sorry. I know it sucks. It is very difficult. It's very hard to even articulate how overwhelmed you are. Sometimes you're in a daze, you're in survival mode. Okay. I wish I would have known this. One huge issue I had in the very, very beginning when it started to unfold was like, oh my God, people aren't going to understand. They're not going to understand what's going on. They're going to assume she's this. They're going to assume she's that. They're going to think this is behavioral. And with this one step, we could have prevented a lot of stress. So we would enter places and just hope that like it went well. We would enter coffee shop, grocery store. We would just be like, maybe her tics won't be that bad. What we needed to do was to get ahead of it. The number one thing that you can do when your child has some sort of neurological or other disability where there's going to be something happening that's going to attract attention is to get ahead of it. You need to fill in the blanks. If you don't fill in the blanks for other people, they're going to fill it in. And how rare would it be that somebody's going to say, I think they have Tourette syndrome. It's just not that known still to this day. It's just not that understood. Not to mention, Tourette syndrome has these tics that truly appear behavioral. I mean, it's sometimes almost looks like I know if I see it for the most part, I guess. I mean, do I though? But I assume I know. I can see something and say, ooh, that seems like a tic. That seems like Tourette syndrome. But other people, it's going to look behavioral. I mean, truly, some of these tics look and sound like acting out, and they're not. And this is why I advocate on behalf of these kids and these young adults so much, because I hate watching them get treated like they're misbehaving or they're attention seeking. The ironic thing is most of them, they do not want social attention. Not to mention they don't want negative social attention. That's not what they're seeking. They would rather not. They would rather just walk into a building, do what they need to do and leave without people looking at them. So filling in the blanks is so important. Even if we have to go into, this is what we started to do, and we did it months after everything started ramping up, and I wish we would have done it sooner. We really needed to go into a building first and say, our daughter has Tourette syndrome. She's going to be loud, or she might be doing some things. I need you to know it's not on purpose. Can you tell your employees? Can you just like let these guests know real quick that there's a girl with a neurological disability who's about to come in? That's what we started doing. And, some people might think it's extra, but is it extra if she's going in and she's screaming at the top of her lungs? No, it's not. It's being courteous to both her and the people in the room so that they don't have to fill in the blanks, so they're not overwhelmed. Now, do we owe them that? No. I see a lot of stuff where somebody's like, oh, if you're going to have a baby on a plane, you should really pass around a note and give them some candy and some gift bags. Fuck no. Sorry about my language, but no, nobody owes that. But does it make things easier for kids with neurological disabilities to go ahead and fill in the blanks? We fill in the blanks with the truth, so they don't fill in the blanks with assumptions. That would have made things so much easier. So we started to do that. We did it with their sports teams. We literally went up to their coach and said, I need you to know. And Ellie, you guys got to go back on our Instagram and look at the reels with like soccer and basketball, especially soccer. Ellie's yelling some pretty profane stuff, but it was everybody knew. Everybody knew. We only had one incident one time where this kid like truly could not comprehend that it was not like in her control, and he kept getting like offended by it. We were like, it's really not you. It's really not you. And we had to kind of process that and talk to a parent, and but that ended up being fine. But we got to fill in the blanks before other people have the opportunity to fill them in with things that are not true. We want to fill it in with truth and facts so that they don't fill it in with assumptions. That's what we do. So we also did it with the school. Her principal was wonderful. Her principal had a video of me and her and the principal literally talking about what Tourette syndrome was and what to expect from seeing Ellie in the halls. Maybe she might be saying some things that are not quite appropriate, or she's making some noises that might be a little bit loud, or doing some gestures that are also not appropriate, or are just, she's fine. She's fine. It's just she can't control it. She got ahead of it. She filled in the blanks with the truth and with facts before people had the opportunity to be like, what's that kid doing? It saved us a world of trouble. And people already knew when they saw her. The majority, I would say, like, the majority of people in her school already knew what was going on because they saw that video, because it got shown on the morning news. Not to mention the staff viewed it as well. So this is, I think, the number one thing that makes being in public easier. It is already hard for a lot of these kids, teenagers, adults. It's hard for them to go into places when they know people are going to be looking at them. Nobody wants that. Okay, nobody wants that. But if you can fill in the blanks, you can, even if you got a card and you're like, look, I've got Tourette syndrome. I just need you to know that. So we're not going to jump to conclusions. I'm allowed to be here. I'm protected by the American Disabilities Act, or American with Disabilities Act. I'll link that below. I always mess up the name, but the concept I've got covered, and that is that you can't get kicked out for your disability. So you want to get ahead of it. Fill in the blanks wherever you can, wherever you have windows and opportunity. Like if I were getting on a plane, we actually did that when we got on a plane with Ellie. We made sure to tell the flight attendants what was going on, just in case. She ended up kind of being mild on the plane, and it was okay. There were some sounds or some phrases, but we did that because we wanted that person who was in charge of that plane, right, to have our back, and just to be able to communicate that to other people. A wonderful thing that happened last year was Ellie's teacher said, if any parents have anything to say, or their kid comes home and says, Ellie was saying this, she will be the person who communicates with them. So it doesn't have to come right to me. She's going to be in the middle. And that just saves us as parents of a child with a disability. I gotta tell you, it just saves us a lot of stress. We're already going through a lot, and it's nice to have people who are on your side and willing to speak on behalf of you and your family and your kids. So filling in the blanks, fill it with facts and truth so that other people don't fill it with assumptions. Get a step ahead. It's already difficult. So if you can make your life easier, you and your kid, if you can make it easier by filling in those blanks, do it. Like, that is some of the best advice. Like, I wish we would have done that sooner, but it took us a while to get to that point. We just kind of like creeped into places and we hoped it would be okay. And then it was like kind of negative and kind of awkward, when we should have gotten a step ahead. So now Ellie actually prefers for us to go into, if her tics are bad, this is not all the time. If her tics are bad, she asks us to go in. So we go in, we tell them, and then people just don't react. And it's amazing. And she feels welcome. So anyway, I hope that is helpful for you guys. I'm thinking of you. I know this is not easy, but you know what? You're going to get through it, okay? Bye.